It's just a little quick update on the pond, the state of the pond. I got this plant, I can't remember the name of it, but a plant I introduced into the pond, and it just took over the entire pond. For the entire summer, the pond has just been like just reeds. The entire bottom, every 3 inches or so, there's reeds growing. And so it looks like, it's all water right now, but that's because I've just pulled all the reeds out. You can see I mulched this Brussels sprout spread there, and this squash bed is covered in the reeds. So this whole area was all reeds. You couldn't see the water, it was just all reeds. I'm sure that was obvious in my last garden video. So I just pulled them all out. So some of them broke off and the roots are still in the ground, and some of them I pulled the roots right out. But I fully expect there to be reeds next year. And I mean, you can, say one thing or another about whether that's good or bad. What I do know is that we had a drought this summer. We had no rain. I might have topped the water up in this pond twice the entire summer. And this pond has no bladder. It's just a hole in the ground. There's a sort of mud at the bottom, and that's just from, every time it rains, rain comes down this hill and it carries fine clay with it. So with the bottom, you can see it's all stirred up over there, which is where all the fish are sort of hiding. I mean, a lot of people, they're always concerned that the stirred up muddy water is bad for the fish. But I mean, it's clear over here. And when the water, I turn the water on. I've got a well, so I'm not using city water here. I've got a very, very deep well. There's one going to the surface there. They've gone into the clear water, but because they can see me moving around, they're staying in the muddy water. So, I mean, they use it for cover. And I haven't seen my fish for 2 months. This has just been a big mess of reeds. And the fish, I didn't know if they were alive or dead, but today I siphoned all the water out of the pond, and to the point where there was maybe just, 5 to 10, maybe 5 to 10 gallons of water left. And there was fish. Of course, they were down in the mud because they thought it was like the end of the world. When the water first started coming in, I just have it there sort of trickling in. They actually did go over that way to see what was going on, but then once I started shooting this video, I started shooting the video because the fish were over there enjoying the fresh water, I guess. But my talking and movement just spooked them, and they went and hid back in the sort of dirty, muddy water. But I mean, I think you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see them in there or not, but they're there, all different kinds. Right, so I mean, I started off with just feeder fish in here, but they've bred and they've made babies. You can see there's just a classic goldfish there. I don't know how much reflection is coming off the water. But I've got others that have the coloration of koi, and I've got others that are just perfectly camouflaged. There's sort of a, gray, black, silver coloration. So a wide range. Yeah, that's a frog over there. All of that just came out of the goldfish. All of that variation. Right? I guess every year, or I don't really know, but they lay eggs. I know that because I've seen goldfish in here that are like an inch long, and I didn't put any in here that long. Right? I've seen fish that are an inch long, and I didn't stick them here. And when they all went in, they were maybe, inch and a half long, and they would have been all the same kind from the pet store. And I guess this pond's just deep enough and just natural enough that they breed it every year. I don't feed them anything. There's all kinds of bugs in here that I guess that's what they're after, bugs. And I don't know if they eat seeds. I mean, goldfish are pretty omnivorous, so I imagine some of the seeds that blow in here they eat and some they don't, depends on what it is. And they probably eat anything that moves that they can fit in their mouth. There's one just cruising around there, and they're all different sizes. The biggest ones might be 5 inches long or more. I haven't seen those ones yet. Or maybe they aged out and died, I don't know. But yeah, there's a big one under the water there. You can't see them, but I can. Just moving around. That's at least 5 inches long. So anyway, my point is that be careful what plants you're introducing. I mean, I think this plant's good for the garden, good for the pond, insofar as it uses up nutrients. I mean, I got probably 24 goldfish in here. It's not a big, it's not a big pond. You know, it's probably 12 feet long and 4 feet wide at the largest. And you know, when it's full, it might be 2.5 feet deep, but for most of the time it's about a foot deep, maybe a little bit more. The fish overwinter here. There's no air pump. There's no nothing. I have a little solar powered thing that's hooked up to a tube like this that just circulates the water. It pumps it up to where that water's coming in over there and just sends it back down, just so there's a little bit of movement in water. Otherwise, the only circulation happens when it rains. Right, water rushes into the pond. It's a natural pond, so it fills up with water when it rains, and then the water slowly just seeps out into the water table. It is like a pond, especially now with all this aquatic life. So I don't know where I'm going with all of this, but that is to say, you know, it's amazing what plants will do for a pond. They, you know, like these, and not only that, not only is there probably 24 goldfish in here, which is well beyond the number of goldfish a pond like this should have, but there's frogs and other things in here. And I didn't have any, you know, like if the water's getting toxic, it'll foam up and you'll see dead fish. None of that happened this year. I didn't do anything. It was a hot, dry summer with no rain. All of those reeds, which were maybe 3 feet high, shaded the water, kept the water cool. At any time in the summer, if I came out here and put my hand in the pond, it was cool, like maybe 10 Celsius in there. So the water never got hot. So yes, they crowd the pond out. They cover all the water. They kind of make it impossible to enjoy the fish that are in the pond. But I don't think the fish care. If anything, I think they like it. They like the cover. They like the shade. I'm sure there's all kinds of different forms of aquatic insect life that like all of that stuff. It's sort of like an underwater jungle. And these goldfish are sort of like jungle fish living in this jungle water. And that is jungle water. If I drank it, I'm sure I'd get a jungle disease. Right? Anyway, I just thought I'd provide this update. There are, for those that were wondering, right? Yes, the fish are fine. As far as I can tell, they're fine. They went the whole summer. Dry as can be. No air pump, no circulation, no filter, no nothing. Just a hole in the ground with lots of plant life. Totally works. If you're thinking of getting a pond, this is a great time of year to get it started. Make a fall project for yourself. Dig a hole. Dig the biggest, longest hole you can dig. The deepest, widest, longest hole you can dig and accommodate on your property. And just, you know, throw a bunch of things that you see growing in ditches in the hole and see what grows. And next year, around May, throw a dozen goldfish in there and see what happens. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.